let me start with the main thing that I like the most, the trait system, right? So Romance 14 has positive and negative traits. And some of them, they can range from buffs and debuffs to yourself, debuffing the enemy, behavioral patterns. It's almost like a very, very light version of a Paradox game, like Crusader Kings, for example. It's almost like a very, very, it's the closest attempt, I would say, to having Crusader-like Kings behavior tied to traits. So I've got a character here that I just whipped up, G-Fang, and we can see here he's got 5 traits, and you can actually see that one of them is red, so that's how you know that it's quote-unquote a negative trait. Although I will say some of the negative traits are a lot of fun in this game as well. So he's got 1 negative trait, 4 positive traits, and my idea with this character is to make him kind of a siege specialist, right? So if we go to the traits here, we can see that he's got cautious, which means attack cannot be selected, so he's a little bit overly cautious. You know, he doesn't specifically go after enemies, so you cannot give him orders to go after specific units. You can only tell him to march in certain directions. Disallow cannot be selected for auto retreat, and allow cannot be selected for pursuit, so he cannot pursue units, you know? So it's a behavioral debuff. He's overly cautious no matter what. But he also has sharp eyes. He cannot be deceived by false information. This is an old ploy that's been used. I feel like it's also been used in Nobunaga's Ambition, but basically you lose control of your unit and it starts following false information across the map. When you get hit with this, you almost never get hit with this in this game, but when you get hit with it, it's backbreaking because your unit just breaks off and literally runs off to follow a lead somewhere. And it's usually towards a trap. So your unit will usually run towards a hidden trap and then just trigger the trap. And yeah, they're pretty much out of the battle and they're probably a dead unit as well. Sharp eyes, you cannot be deceived. Doesn't matter what your intelligence is, it's not getting around it. You know, the trait locks it down. Transporter, whenever he's leading a transport unit, maneuver is increased. I love this trait. It just makes sense. Like I said, this guy is kind of a siege, a logistical captain is the best way I would put it. A guy who's really good at logistics and siege warfare. So transporter, maneuvers increase when being in charge of a transport unit. Castle builder, you can build traps and facilities at a faster rate. This is really cool. It's a nice utility. It lets you get fortifications up on the map fairly quickly. Actually, if you have enough soldiers, because you know it scales with the number of soldiers, you can get them up really fast with Castle Builder. And then Commanding General increases the demolish ability of units other than your own unit within a specific range. So it's an AoE buff. Commanding General, while he's around, everyone else's ability to destroy obstacles goes up. Again, because he's like I said, a demolitionist, a logistical captain. He knows about destroying stuff. And he's so good at it that units around him get a small increase to their demolish ability, which is really cool. This is a guy that you want when you're leading a little army and assault to either dismantle a base or just rip a ton of stuff down, okay? That's just the traits, okay? That's just a quick trait overview, and there's a ton of traits in the game. I'll try to go through a couple characters that I have, but there's a lot of traits in this game. I mean, you can increase your morale, decrease the enemy's morale, increase your attack power, increase your defense, and there's trigger conditions. There's so many things with this trait system that is just great. You know, increase the chances of dueling. You know, duels occur more easily. And then there's the next version, which is even stronger. Duels occur more easily and duels are favored. You know, glory, the amount of troops for you to expand your range while you're conquering is decreased. So you just conquer stuff way faster. Prudent, damage is decreased whenever you trigger a trap. There's so many unique ideas in this game that are baked in that honestly I just never got really a chance to talk about because the game was already old by the time I started. Rejuvenator, when you're over a core, your wounded troops are recovered at the start of your turn. I always love this ability. So yeah, it's never ending. Those are traits. Traits are amazing. The next thing that I really like about the game is the tactics system and the doctrine/policy. So everything here, and you know, before I even get into that, another thing that I really like is the portraits. Romance 14 has one of the best collection of portraits. Might be the best collection of portraits in the whole series, man. In the whole series. It's just a compilation of some of the best portraits from across different games. It's just never ending. The best thing about these portraits is that they are action. Everyone's doing something in these portraits, okay? There's a pose. There's almost always it's like less than 1% of the characters are just standing around. They're stagnant, you know? It's the old argument of action figures versus collectibles, okay? Action figures are you're meant to use them when you're a kid. They're meant to be put into poses like they're doing something, something's being accomplished. And collectibles they're just stagnant. They're Funko Pops, you know what I mean? You just put them on the shelf and you admire them. They kind of stand around like this guy, that's all they do. This game, all the portraits have something dynamic. Everybody's doing something. And with the historical officers, there's a reference to something. You know, if you've read the novels, almost every officer, even the most minor characters, right? The characters that show up and die in 2 seconds, even those characters will have a pose that is just referencing that moment in the book. Okay? It's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me how good the portraits are in this game. They're absolutely insane. Again, when you're creating officers, it pays dividends. It pays dividends because now you have so many choices. I mean, I wish they would keep it up for all of their games like this. It's just never ending. To me, it feels never ending. The possibilities in this game, there's just so many. So the portraits are excellent. Again, everyone's dynamic. Dynamic action poses versus stagnant, standing around and staring at the screen, collectible, put on the shelf, set and forget poses. Anyway, so tactics. With the expansion, which is not a plus for this game, everything around this game with marketing and buying practices is bad. But if you have all of the content in this game, the tactics pool has been expanded with the expansion to this game. We're talking. Look at this list right here. If I edit this video, I'll put up the number. I'll go back and count this out. I want to say at least over 70 tactics. Okay, there's about 12 to 15 basic tactics. These at the top. Okay, see these: Expel, Storm, Rain of Arrows. As soon as we get to Towering Aura, now we've hit unique tactics, okay? Towering Aura, right here at the top. Now we're going down. Implacable Liao, 100 Battles, Expedition Ingress, White Cavalry, Yellow Bravebeard, Tiger's Claws, Tiger's Roar. That's Sun Jian, Sun Ce right there. The effects. So the idea is basic tactics do one thing, and the yellow tactics, the unique tactics, usually package abilities together. It's the same thing for traits. Regular traits, there are gold traits in this game. I just rarely use them because they are so strong. But there's usually a super version of every tactic that packages two abilities together. So all the unique tactics have usually two abilities. And the combinations are endless, guys. The combinations are nuts. The Battered Body Ruse, Huangai's Deception, Enemy Maneuver Increase, and it sets them on fire. That's so woo. Now some of them are not, you know what I mean? Like some of them are clearly S tier, and others are just cool ideas. And that's what I love about this game. There's so many cool ideas. Some of these tactics just sound badass, and then the effect follows up on the theme, and that's more than enough. You know what I mean? We have the God Bow, 300 Corpses, Iron Rush, Dragon Carnage. There's so many, and it just keeps going, man. It just keeps going and going. I think it's over 70 tactics. Almost all of them are unique. Now for our Fortress guy, again, sticking with the theme, he has War Cry. Increases the... it is a defense type tactic, but what it really does is increases allies' demolish ability, and it decreases your enemy's assault damage. So your enemy's attack power goes down, and your demolish ability goes up. Iron Wall increases our defense. Calm is a support type. It calms down, resolves status ailments. So if we're hit with disorder or restrain, we can use calm or provoke and get rid of it. And then one golden tactic, far-sighted design. For this Fortress General, I feel like that fits him perfectly well. So it's intelligence-based. Enemy assault is decreased. Enemy morale is decreased. So it's a debuff to their attack and it debuffs their morale. In Romance 14, there is a playstyle where you can defeat your opponent by crushing their morale to such a point where they just desert. And it's very satisfying to play. It's very satisfying to find ways to just lower your opponent's morale through battle and tactics and just wear them down until they finally break and run, you know? Anyway, far-sighted design, the name fits perfect. I wasn't even searching for this tactic. I was just looking, thinking about the character, and that's the best thing about the system, okay? If you can think of it, and I'm not overselling this, okay? If you can think of it within the systems of this game, if you think about this, what you can do in this game, and you can think of it, you can make a character based around it, okay? So, again, this guy, a logistical captain that specializes in siege. It's great. Castle builder. He can get up fortifications. He can help everyone destroy stuff faster because he's in the area. He has tactics designed to either increase your defense or hamper the enemy, increase your demolish ability. And then formations. I didn't even talk about formations yet. So formations in this game. Now, unfortunately, there's not a lot of formations. They should have at least doubled this list. But it's Koei. They never get a chance to really finish their games before they have to make the next one. We gave them 3 formations. The ring formation, it's all defense. It's very slow, but very high defense. Suitable for attrition warfare, and ain't that the truth. This formation is made to wear down your opponent. Just wear them down. Put up a wall and hold a spot. When you need to hold a spot against the odds, this is the formation for it. Tower formation, you know, for laying siege, attacking the troops in the base, and then catapults, it does a little bit of both. So again, siege captain. We have other formations in the game. Each one is very specialized. You know, in this game, tactics, formation, and traits is almost always more important than just raw ability. You know, it's kind of weird, but you can have a character that has a great ability, great stat, great war, but if they have a poor formation, then it's difficult to take advantage of it. You know, if they have a high intelligence, but they don't have a good pool of tactics to use, and there are characters like that in this game, it's weird. I don't know if Koei designed it to kind of make it like that, so you have to figure out the puzzle yourself. I don't know. But you need a nice little balance of everything. You know, stats, your ability doesn't tell the whole story in this game, and I really like that. I really like that. The last thing is the policy. Policy is barely baked into this game, but what is there you can use. So it basically provides a small buff. Every character can provide a small passive buff if you assign them to your council board. So, you know, you have a council board with so many spaces, you can assign so many people. Each person can contribute something to your overall faction. For this character, we gave them develop shipbuilding, which I think is a translation thing. What it does is it increases your city's durability recovery. So your cities, if your city gets attacked and it gets damaged, it recovers quicker. And more importantly, your construction speeds are increased. So constructing things it gets done quicker. So again, fits in with the theme of this guy. He's a builder. He knows how to build them, and he knows how to take them apart. So yeah, you also have other things like, you know, your lifespan, your lineage. You can take confidants, people that you get along with. Confidants affect your ability to deal, to trigger chain tactics. And you can have quite a few confidants in this game. I think the maximum's like 7 or 8. Yeah, it says 8 down there. You can also have adversaries, sworn siblings, you know, all sorts of other little things. But to me, the best thing, the trait system in this game is just excellent. You can, I mean, we didn't even go through some of the real crazy ones, but we have some of the bad ones. We have greedy, very expensive, careless, violent, one of my favorite traits. Whether you're an enemy or an ally, troops are less likely to return alive. So your wounded troops decrease. So violent just makes it so that more troops on both sides die instead of becoming wounded. So that's one of my favorite traits. It just increases the carnage. Bandit is another one of my favorite traits. I've done quite a few bandit runs on this game. It's supposed to be a negative trait, but all it does is increase the chances of, just chaos. Vicious Drinker. We have Shaken. Whenever your supply line is cut, your morale goes down even quicker. There's so many things. So let me see. Let me show off some of the other characters I've got here. We got another character. Oh, yeah, Hurly Burly. So we've got Hurly Burly. This guy's more of a Vanguard type guy. So he's got Violent, which I just talked about. He has Notorious, which is a negative trait. He's not good at suppressing territory. This guy's kind of a one-track mind. You just want to point him in a direction and send him there. So he has Dauntless. Your unit cannot be affected by Restrained. So you're not slowing this guy down. This guy's going to go. Violent, I talked about. Wall Breaker increases the demolish of his unit. So we just talked about the Captain. The Captain buffs everybody's ability to destroy stuff. This only increases his unit. Notorious, again, he's not good at suppressing territory. And then we gave him his own unique trait. That's right, you can make your own traits in this game. And the parameters aren't crazy, they're not endless, but still, you can make your own traits in this game. And you can name them whatever you want. So Hurly Burly has his own trait that I made in this game that I called the Hurl that Burls. And the condition is whenever he is surrounded, he becomes immune from the debuffs that come with being surrounded. So he doesn't lose morale as quickly, and he can't be pinned down when you take a hit to your movement. And also, his defense goes up by 5. Now, I could have changed it, made it even stronger, increased all his stats by 5, for example, or something like that. But I just wanted to capture the idea of, like, you can surround this big fella, but you ain't slowing him down. You're not pinning him down. It's not happening, That's why he has Dauntless. He can't be affected by Restrained. And that's why he has the Hurl that Burls. He doesn't care about being surrounded. He's going to go where he wants. And he has Wall Breaker. He's going to be knocking him down. Formations, we gave him the Fish Formation, the Crane Formation, which is great. This is the Vanguard Formation. High occupation range and defense. Great for suppression, which he's not good at, but vanguarding he is built for. What else can I talk about this guy? He only has Rally and Shout. Again, kind of a one-track mind. You just kind of send him in. And his Doctrine increases the strength of Crane formations. So if you have him on your console, he's going to increase your ability to vanguard because that's what he knows how to do. So he has the Brave Tone and all that good stuff. So yeah, you can make your own traits in this game. That's another thing that is really fucking cool. You can make your own items in this game. Let me show you guys real quick. So if we go to original specialties, that's what they're called in this game. We've got a list of a couple of items that I made for a couple of characters. So you can name your own item. You can choose the status effect and what type it is. So we've got Hydra's Bite plus 3 strength. It's three little swords there, one for each. 3-headed Hydra, all that good stuff. Acolyte's War Manual plus 3 leadership. We have the Gilded Mare. It's a mount that provides you with life extension, whoever has it. And we have just a big chopper. Big fucking axe that gives plus 8 attack, which I called Red Ruin. So you can create your own weapons and you can set them up who has them when the scenario starts. Like I said, you can make your own traits in this game. You can name them what you want. What else? Should I show off one more officer? That's right. I made Pang Sui. I did make Pang Sui, but you know what? I'm not going to show him off. I'm going to show off somebody who's not quite as war-minded. Now, Romance 14. One of the things about it is that it is geared towards war right away. Everything in this game is baked. What is baked towards the war aspect of the game. Everything else is kind of undercooked. Diplomacy, managing your cities. That's all very much, I would say, unfinished, like 75% of the way done, I would say. It's missing that last little bit, that last 25% to make it stand out. And because of that, everything's set to going towards war. So when you make characters, you almost always need something for them. They either need to have something that helps you in the aspect of war, or they need to be a very strong administrator. Okay, so our last character, which I just made, is called Liu Luxing, and the idea is that she is Liu Shan's daughter. Liu Shan's famous daughter, and she's just a hardworking government official. You know, hardworking advisor, government official. Whenever she can get her dad's ear, that is, she'll, you know, she'll do a good job. So, 80 charisma, 80 political, 72 intelligence, low leadership, low strength. Her traits are delicate, which delicate means you're more likely to be injured in the field. Much more likely. I know I don't know if you guys have seen me play this game before, but I will tell you right now that Romance 14 has one of the highest mortality rates for generals that I've ever seen. People can die, I mean, left and right. It can happen from out of nowhere. And if you have the delicate trait, oh man, you got to be very, very careful. She also has popular. While she's assigned, wherever she's assigned as the area overseer, the people will not switch sides. They will not rebel and join the enemy. They will not fall to that ploy because she's there. You know, the people love her, popular. She is wise. She's more likely to offer suggestions on the council. She's famous, which is really strong. It allows you to suppress the population a lot quicker. The population will come over to your side a lot quicker in this game. It also makes it so that you're more expensive to get back. So if she's captured and we have to ransom for her, her ransom's going to be a lot higher because she has the famous trait. Not a big deal. But the population suppression is a huge boon. And she has poetic, something for the battlefield. When enemy units are defeated within range of her, the morale of units in our force outside of her is increased. So anytime that units are destroyed around her vicinity, she increases the morale of our allied forces, which is really nice. Now, I wish they had fleshed out the effects and stuff, but in true Koei fashion, the specifics you have to figure out for yourself. But, you know, we have a hard-working administrator. Tactics, we gave her calm, restrained, so she can calm units down. She can apply restraint to enemy units, and we gave her a unique ability called World Traveler. It recovers our wounded soldiers by a little bit, and it decreases the enemy's siege ability. So nothing too crazy. I like the theme of it. It fits the idea of like this girl who is working her butt off to and fro, running around, trying to keep stuff running in shoe. The last thing, her policy, a thorough government, what it does is it increases our orders. So if she's assigned to our government, we'll have more actions each turn. Each turn we'll get more actions through her thorough government ability. So yeah, formations, nothing really, just goose formation, which is ranged, shooting from far away, and then ring formation, which the best thing about ring formation, you cannot be involved in duels. So if you have a general like her on the field, you want to put her somewhere safe. So that means goose formation, so she's back, or ring formation, so she cannot accidentally get caught up in a duel, because 18 strength means, and delicate means, that means death for her for sure. So yeah, my point about this is, if you're gonna make an officer that is more administrative utility, there's definitely room for it, but go hard in the paint for that. Go hard with those abilities, more so than combat abilities, because you need to make up for the fact that they're not going to be seeing the field so much, and the game is geared towards warring so much. This game is like 80% of it is built to get straight to the fighting, and 20% of it is administration, maybe even lower. Maybe even lower. I don't know, if you guys have played it, let me know what you guys think. So yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think I covered everything. So yeah, if you guys are wondering about this game, that's what I would say is one of the best aspects of this game, is creating an officer. It's so good that, you know, even someone, like I said, even someone like me, I'm not big into creating characters, but it grabs my attention because there's so many unique ways, there's so many cool little things that you can do to flesh out your character. So I really hope Koei uses the system in the future. I hope they don't charge us an arm and a leg, but what can you do, right? All right, guys, I will catch you guys on the next one. Until then, take care.